Okay, we're ready. Today is, I think it's Friday, July 19th. It doesn't really matter.
No, it's July
4th, 7th, 8th.
Anyway, I've been doing video now for a year and a half. I still have no idea what day it is.
July 25th.
Anyway, today's an exciting day. Today's Friday. It's already like an hour and a half into my business day. I already had 3 or 4 people came to me with cancer. One lady was going to Oregon to see her sister was dying of cancer, another lady from Virginia. Cancer is rampant, and I pretty much say the same thing to everybody. I'm basically a natural genesis, although she doesn't agree totally. This is okay. I eat mostly fruit, leafy greens, and I met Armenia maybe a couple years ago. She comes here once a year to see her sister, and while she's here, she visits me. She visits for a whole bunch of books. Anyway, why don't you explain how you got involved with raw food, exactly what you're doing? She's from A&R Mission, and she works with a very unique program called Natural Hygiene.
Hygiene, natural hygiene.
Just explain.
Okay, well, back in the late 60s, when I was a piano student at the Oberlin Conservatory of Music in Ohio.
I remember that.
Oberlin, Ohio.
I did know that.
You remember you did that?
Well, my wife's ex-wife's brother went to Oberlin.
Oh, really? When?
It's 1972.
Oh, well, maybe we overlap.
Maybe.
What's his name?
His name is, last name is Gluckman. His first name is David.
Is he a pianist?
I think so, but then he used it. Went to Oberlin.
Well, anyway, my piano professor at the Oberlin Conservatory of Music, Miles Mawney, was a health person, health nut, and he gave me a book to read, and I read it.
What name of the book?
The first one he gave me was Nutrition for Health by Alice Chase, which is not natural hygiene, but it got me thinking about these things. And then he started giving me Herbert Shelton's books, and then N.H. Walker's books, and Tilden, and Errett. And I read them and gave them back. I kept reading them, and the one when I finally read Become Younger by Walker, that was in 73, 97. I said, this is it. I'm converted. And I said to my husband,
you were married in 73?
I was married in 71. And I said, I'm going to eat all raw food from now on. And he said, what? Are you crazy? No way! He was a gourmet person. But, so I do, since then I've been eating very much raw and some fasting and always fruit mono meals for breakfast. Sometimes 2 or 3 fruit mono meals like that.
Why explain what a mono meal is?
A mono meal is, for breakfast, you eat one kind of fruit to your fill. So it could
theory
be,
behind it?
It could be, well, because it's simple for your body to digest. There's no confusion in your stomach, because every food is a constellation of many elements, and your body has enough to figure out to deal with that. But let me skip ahead in my story. I got into the natural hygiene system and was reading all this stuff, and they at the time were promoting all raw, but also some of them were advocating a little bit of cooked food, mostly steamed vegetables. So I thought, well, maybe they're not totally all raw, but I believed that it was the right thing. But I never met anyone else who was into it. After I left the Oberlin Conservatory of Music, I never met another raw foodist until I was in California a couple of years ago, and there was a raw food group, and they were in
30 years you never met anybody else? I
never met another
33 years.
Never raw foodists. There were vegetarians, but they were never raw, and they had never heard of natural hygiene.
Right.
And then all these new raw books came out about like dehydrating and making all these complicated recipes and mixing together sweet fruits and nuts and seeds, which are an abomination in the stomach, which Dr. Shelton said it's heaven in the mouth, hell in the stomach. You know, put sweet fruit together with nuts and seeds is undigestible. And I've been separating my foods. People call it food combining, but I call it food separating. Because I've been separating my foods ever since 1973, even though I had some cookies. But then, 2 years ago, I met Ellen Livingston in Ann Arbor, who told me about Doug Graham. And I got Doug Graham's 8-10-10 diet book from her, and I read it immediately, and I said, yay! This guy is right. This guy is explaining why all raw is right. And then through him and her, I read David Klein's book, Self-Healing, Colitis Crohn's, and then Don Bennett's Avoiding Degenerative Disease, and then all these related books of theirs, and then I have all the back issues of Living Nutrition, and I said, finally, and so I said to my husband, it's time now, I'm all raw. You know, after menopause, well, in menopause, I felt a change in my body, felt like, oh, I really want to eat lighter. And so when I met Ellen...
Menopause, did that go back, you think?
Pardon me?
Or you're this shouldn't be reversed?
Oh, well, I didn't have a bad menopause because I was already mostly raw.
Right.
I mean, I was like between 80 and 90% raw since 1973. Although there were times I
So you had menopause at age
53. Well, I nursed for about 10 years.
Right.
I had 3 babies. And I nursed my girls until they were 4 and a half. And so, you know, when you're nursing, it's like, and also with pregnancy. So there were 10 years of like suspended activity down there. So maybe that gave me more time, you know. But anyway, I felt with the menopause, my body didn't need to fuel reproductive organs, and I felt like I didn't need to eat heavy. And so that was another thing that propelled me to say I'll be doing all raw now. And my husband is accepting it. You know, he's not, but
fair meat for you and then you can regular food for him.
I know, no, I haven't cooked meat since 19.
But yeah, you don't prepare food for your husband.
If he wants steamed, you know, rice, and I steam vegetables, I make things for him, but he's also a cook. So if he wants meat, he puts it in something. But he doesn't need the meat. He says, I don't have to have meat, I just want to taste it. So I give him, you know, get watermelon ready for him, so when he comes downstairs, it's there. But he'll eat cheese with it. Now I'm all...
We won't mention that word.
I'm all vegan because I know that cheese is gluten in my body, you know, so no animal products, no grains. They are acid forming, and they also form mucus in the body. So for me,
So you're basically fruit and equal meat. Mostly fruit.
It's mostly fruit, and then some leafy greens. So I'll have a big salad at night and enjoy the mixture of colors. You know, lots of tomatoes and celery, and well, veggie fruits and greens. So as Ben Grant says, the veggie fruits are like tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, zucchini, and yellow squash are the main ones. Although it's now corn. You get
Corn's a fruit, actually.
If you get it really fresh, peel it, eat it right away. It's so juicy and delicious. It's like a fruit.
It is.
And little pea pods, you know, when they're fresh and raw. So corn and pea pods when it's the season. And even Brussels sprouts, I found that they're really fresh. And broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus. What I do with those is I chop them up really fine. I sprinkle them on my salad, and they're kind of like Parmesan cheese. They have sort of an effect like, you know, of the old bakery. You know, so for my big salad of greens, and I don't eat a lot of tough greens. I would juice greens only that I could actually eat rather than collards, unless they're very tender. So I tend to juice, if I'm going to make a smoothie, I tend to juice lettuce.
You actually had a very good smoothie too.
Yes, it was all banana with one very ripe mango and lots of fresh mint leaves.
It's very good.
In my garden, I have lots of different mint. Also, I have cilantro and parsley. Sometimes I'll put parsley. Now, I don't do a lot of smoothies because, you know, blenders don't grow on trees.
It's true. I feel that.
And but I do enjoy them. It gives me like kind of buzzing energy.
Good. Anything else for the camera?
Well, in the
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
What do you do for dressing on your salad if you don't?
Well, I chop up my tomatoes a lot so that they give out their dressing. You know, they give out their juice. And I've learned from Ellen. Also, I've learned some new things from the Buddhist natural hygiene books. Not just that they are showing us that we can be 100% raw, but also all those years I was separating, I never ate a fruit with a tomato. I had my fruit, and then when I switched to vegetables, I had no more fruit. But I've learned from